Hey, fight fans, it's Maddie Levine back for the 1-2 punch. And listen, we saw the announcement. Joe Lauzon making his comeback against another legend, Cowboy Cerrone. So I have the man here, Joe Lauzon, to talk about this upcoming fight that is going to make fight fans so excited. So hello, my friend. Thank you for
Hello.
joining. How are you? How's the snowstorm for you
I'm
today?
good. We're getting buried. We probably got
Yes.
like at least 2.5 feet here. So
Yeah, and it's not slowing down. So
no,
I'm getting nervous.
we got a few more hours, and I think the big thing is it makes no sense to shovel it because it's so light and fluffy. It just blows back in. The plow goes
Yeah,
by and
there's
10 minutes later, you can't tell.
and snowstorms for dads are a little more stressful, I feel like. Have you had to go play in it yet?
Not yet. I mean, it's not tomorrow. We'll play in it for sure, but today is just
Yeah,
like
that's true.
there's so much wind. It's not gonna be fun for anyone.
So social media is blowing up, Joe, and
Yep.
I'm sure you know why. You had a
Yeah.
big announcement. So last night, right? It came out that you're going to be fighting Donald Cerrone.
Yes. So the quick timeline was last week. They asked me if like on Monday they asked me if I want to fight Cowboy March 5th, and I'm like, ugh, it's like 6 weeks, little too soon.
Yeah.
Like it's been like 2 years since I fought, and I've been wanting to fight. I was not pushing it all during COVID and quarantine and all that, but I've been in the gym, I've been training. But if I am going to fight again, I don't want to do it on 5 weeks notice. I want to put in a legit camp. If I didn't fight, no problem. If I don't fight at all, no problem. But if I am going to fight, I want to do it the right way. So I told him I couldn't do March 5th. And then like, oh, Cowboy definitely wants to do that date. So it's not going to work. I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. But like, I do want to fight. So don't just put me on the pay no mind list. Like I want to fight. Don't take this as me not wanting to fight. And then a couple days later, like, well, how about April 30th? So that's what we're doing. So I'm excited about it.
So I'm sure you weren't going to say yes to any old fight. What is it about this matchup with him that excited you and that made you want to jump at it?
For a long time we were kind of chasing each other, bonuses. I was ahead on bonuses, then he was, and back and forth. And just a guy that a guy that I like, guy that I'm friendly with. He came out and trained at my gym 3 years ago or so. Came out for a couple of months and was training at our gym because he was in Boston filming a movie. And I actually didn't get to train with him because I had surgery on my knee literally the week before they were coming out. So that was a little bit interesting, but a guy that I like, but a guy that has very exciting fights, has fought just about everybody. The stars never line. We never lined up, but now we do. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
You say you're friendly with him. So did you guys just hop on the phone and you're like, hey, let's do this?
No,
did it go through?
No, not like that.
Yeah.
There's been a couple times he was coming out for the UFC. He was in Boston, and I was trying to find him a place to hook up his truck and trailer for their power, like a motorhome. There's been a couple of things like that. It's just a guy that I've been friendly with, not a guy I'm calling like, hey, did you watch the Patriots game or whatever, but a guy I've always been friendly with and got along with and things like that. But we're both professional fighters. It's the way it's going to go sometimes.
Exactly. And Dana White was pretty clear about your last fight in 2019 in Boston, saying, he kind of wanted you to retire, but you wanted to leave that door open. Did you leave it open for a fight like this one?
Yeah. This is exactly what it was about, right? So, so the thing with Dana was there was some confusion there. So I told Dana, so 2 fights ago, my fight went horrible. Right. And I did not want that to be the last fight. I wanted to give it one more. And I told Dana, look, if this fight doesn't go well, my last fight, if this fight doesn't go well, I promise you'll never hear me ask for another fight. Right. If it doesn't go well, you'll never hear me ask. But then the fight went perfect. Right. I did great on the feet. I took the guy down. I pounded him out. I got the stoppage. The guy has done very, very well since then. Jonathan St. Pierce. I looked great. Everything was perfect. It was nice that it was at home. But never in my mind was I ever saying, okay, this is definitely my last fight. I'm done. Right. Because one, I don't like when people go into fights with that mentality, because I think it's they're not even caring about if they win. They're caring about just kind of oh, this is my last one. I'm going to go and get sent off. This is going to be my last thing. It's that is not the mindset I had going to that last fight. It's not the mindset I have going into this fight. I'm not thinking, oh, I'm going to fight 6 more times or 3 more times, whatever it's going to be. But I'm not thinking, okay, this is definitely going to be my last fight. Is there a good chance of my last fight? Of course it is. I'm 37 years old, almost 38. It's the way it goes. But I was very clear with Dana that if the last fight didn't go well, then it would be done. But that wasn't the case. I did great. Dana said in the post fight, that was supposed to be my last fight, and I changed my mind like that. I texted him after, I'm like, that is not what this was. I sent him screenshots. I'm like, this is what I said. So I left the door open. I've said all along that, I need three things, right? I need to like the opponent. I need to like the date. I need to like the location, right? So location, we don't know yet, but I'm pretty flexible on that. It's not going to be international. That's all I really cared about. As long as it's somewhere in the United States, I'm happy with it. Just because travel's a lot easier. I like the opponent.
Have they thrown out any potential places that they're going to have it? Or
no? I asked them. I'm like, are you thinking Vegas? You thinking maybe not Vegas? They said they're looking at options that are not Vegas. So I think that kind of Vegas is kind of like the backup, the default. But I think that they're trying to get over all the COVID stuff and get out and these different venues that are going to allow fans. So that'd be cool.
I mean, selfishly, I would love it in Boston again.
It's possible.
That would be amazing.
It's possible.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. It'd be great if they came back to Boston. I would love that.
Yeah, that would be incredible. So I mean, you've been at it for a while, and your last showing was so good. Are you worried that you're going to be chasing the perfect performance again? Or do you think you're just, you just love the fight game? And I think we all know that. And I think that's why we love you. But are you worried that you're going to be chasing that perfection again?
I don't think there is perfection. Like my last fight was pretty close to perfection. Like it was, 5
It was pretty damn close.
Pretty close, right? But it doesn't need to be perfection. I just, I don't care. I really don't care. Yeah. Like I want to go out. I'm going to prepare well and have a good fight. That's all I know. Like it might not be perfect. It might not be flawless. It might not be, it could be though. There's, I didn't think the last fight was going to go as well as it did. Like I was confident going in the fight. But I didn't think it was going to go as well as it did. I felt great. I felt great during that fight. I felt great during that camp. So, we're just going to roll the dice again. We'll see what happens. Maybe in, 4 months, like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. That was stupid. Or maybe we're like, oh, that was great. Let's maybe do it again. I don't know. We'll see.
I love how you're just, you know what? We'll see how it goes. It is what it is. I feel like that's how you got to live life.
I hate it when people are like, oh, this is my last fight. This is going to be the end. Like is it possible the end? Yeah. I mean, the end is coming for sure, but is this definitely it? The last one? I have no idea.
Right. And I think you said after your last fight, you're not really interested in climbing the ranks again to the top. Is that still the case here? Are you just still trying to find those perfect fights?
I really just enjoy training and fighting. For the last 2.5 years, I haven't had a fight coming up. During, when COVID kicked off, that obviously derailed everything. I had no interest in fighting whatsoever. And then last year we moved my gym, so I had no interest in fighting at all. But things have kind of stabilized a little bit. Things have been a little bit more consistent. So I started thinking about I was wanting to fight a little bit more. I go up to skill strength. I drive an hour to go up to skill strength in Chelmsford to lift. And it's a considerable amount of dedication and time that I have to block off. It's I'm blocking off 4 hours a couple times a week just to go and do strength conditioning. And if I wasn't going to fight, I would have no reason to do strength conditioning, right? That's why I'm going there. I could easily lift at my gym. I could do the minor stuff at my gym, no problem, be strong, whatever. But I've been doing this conditioning that just sucks, right? It's just not fun. It's you feel you're gonna pass out. It's horrible. But it's
terrible.
For a fighter though, it's good and it's necessary. And so I've been doing that, and then it was kind of nice that I'd been doing that for a little bit. And then we get the call, okay, we're gonna maybe do this fight. It's a good amount of time still. We have a lot of time that goes until it. But it's nice to kind of have that goal, that event on the horizon, and kind of something to focus on.
Yeah, let's talk about strength and conditioning real quick. So you go to Skill of Strength with Mike Perry, who seems to be, working with all of these amazing athletes. How has strength and conditioning changed your approach with MMA training? Because it certainly seems like that's the reason you were ready for this one. Yeah,
no, I mean, for sure. So back when I first started training, strength conditioning wasn't really that big of a thing, right? So some people did it, but not a whole lot of people did it. And then the downside, obviously, the best way to get good at wrestling is do more wrestling. The best way to get good at jiu-jitsu is do more jiu-jitsu, right? So same thing with boxing, striking, everything, right? So you have to do that. But there's a lot of wear and tear that comes with those activities. If I try to just wrestle, crazy, right? It's like I'll get better at wrestling, but I'm also going to get really banged up. Right? If I'm trying to spar, I'm going to get really banged up. It's hard. So the strength conditioning part of it is like it's good because you're developing a bigger strength base, and you're getting your heart in better shape. You're recovering faster. It's not just like doing the sport makes you more efficient for the sport, but doing strength conditioning gets you kind of your recovery better. It gets you back after, being able to recover after a minute instead of you needing 3 or 4 minutes. So that's the big thing. My last fight was great. Like I've been doing, strength conditioning with Mike Perry for like almost a year. And it just seemed, it was like the longest fight camp ever. But everything was great. Everything was awesome. It definitely makes a big difference when you're consistent about it, but it definitely makes even bigger difference when you have like a date that's like set in stone. That is, is kind of like a goal. It's like, you're doing that super crappy workout, but you're doing that super crappy workout for this specific date and this specific person, this specific reason. Instead of like, I'm going to go suffer for the sake of suffering. It's different.
Right. I certainly do better in the gym when I know I'm doing it for a reason and not just to be healthy. It's always nice to have that finish line. Do you think your career would have been any different if you had been training like that earlier on? Like, have you always done strength and conditioning?
So I didn't for like the first, like maybe 5 or 6 fights in the UFC. But after that, I started working out with Kyle Holland. I started up to Mike Boyle strength conditioning, and it made a huge difference in my training. It helped me out a ton. And then Kyle ended up moving cross country. So I tried to kind of still work with Kyle, but he would just send me routines and programs and stuff like that and do them on my gym. But it wasn't the same. I had most of the equipment I needed, but I didn't have everything. And we tried to do substitutions. It wasn't quite what I needed. For me, it works out better when I make like this, like I block off this time. Like I get up at 4:30 in the morning so I can, be on the road by 5 o'clock and I'm there by 6. Yep. I lift until 8. I'm back in my house at 9. So it's like a considerable amount of time that I block off, and like I don't let anything get in the way of that. This is what has to happen. This is what it's important. It's a priority. It's going to happen. And it's too easy if it was like, okay, I'm going to go to my gym and lift for an hour. It's too easy to have other things get in the way. Like, I'll do that on Thursday instead of Wednesday or whatever. It's just like, okay, like I know these are my days. I have to go. I have to get it done.
Yeah, that discipline is certainly going to help out on April 30th. And thinking about this fight and getting prepared for this fight, what about it stylistically gets your blood pumping? What are you excited about it for?
I think you're just, fighting Cowboy Cerrone, right? Like it's exciting.
Yeah. Like, I'm fighting Cowboy. That's cool.
He's had super exciting fights. Stylistically, I think that he's got the better stand up. He's got very good jiu-jitsu too, but I think I probably have the advantage on the ground. He's a little bit of a slower starter. I'm a little bit of a faster starter. I think that on paper, it's a very, very exciting fight. I think it's, it'll kind of be a case of like, okay, early in the fight, I will do a little bit better. Later in the fight, he'll do a little bit better. So, we'll see how it goes. It's one of those things like you never know how a fight's going to go, right? Until the door closes, you have no idea. Like I did not think that Francis Ngannou was going to be working for takedowns. I was thinking we are going to see like a first or second round knockout, and then we get a 5-round decision. You just never know what's going to happen until the fight starts. I think that's why it's exciting. I think that's why it's fun.
And it's so exciting to see 2 veterans going after it, because I feel like we've been seeing such new blood lately. They've been pushing these new fighters at us, and to have this veteran fight for the fans is so exciting. But when you've done it for so long, how do you prepare for a fight like this? Like, because I feel like when you first start out, you watch some tape, you try to master that game plan, but I'm sure you must have a game plan set in place.
We have like our default things that we like to do, but it's not like if you're a new fighter, you don't have like this playbook that's all that deep, right? You have a couple things that you're really good at. Right. But now I've had like 27 fights in the UFC, right? I've had like very specific things we worked on for every single one of those fights, 4 or 5 tricks for every single fight that were new that we were going to work on, so now I've got like 100 tricks. So I have like 100 things that I've spent a considerable amount of time on to kind of, ramp up and get better and sharpen the axe and all this other stuff. So I have a lot of weapons, a lot of things I'm good at. And so now it's okay. Like, we always do we do a coaches meeting, and we'll get all the coaches together and we'll talk about it. So we'll probably talk about it the next week or so about, like all of my strengths and weaknesses and all the Cowboys. Right. And we'll talk about how that's like the opportunities and threats that those present, so the things that he's good at, the things that, we have to be concerned with, the things that maybe he's not the best at that we think we can take advantage of, so we'll go about it like that. but like there's, I'm fortunate that, I can focus on 100% of my time, right? I have another job I have to focus on. I run a couple classes at the gym, but like I'll definitely be able to, kind of scale that back a little bit for the next couple months. But I'll be able to 100% focus on this, and get the right trainer partners in, and, bring in the right, like I said, the right trainer partners, the right coaches, the right staff, and get it done.
Yeah. So you brought up your gym, Lauzon MMA. When did you open Lauzon? Now I know you have a new location, but when was the first one?
So my gym started. So when I first started training, I was like 16 years old, and Joe Pomfret had a school. It was called Reality Self Defense, which is not the best name for an MMA gym, right? So, back then, like in like '96 or whatever it was, he opened it. Like everyone was going on about the realistic self defense and all this other stuff, So at the time, it was a decent name, but then it would be like fighting out of reality self defense, Joe Lauzon, and then people would be like in the crowd, like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" Like, reality self defense. This guy's gonna get killed. And then I go out there and I take people down and smash them and heel hook them and everything else. So, as time went on, we started announcing our team as Team Aggression. So we did Team Aggression for a long time. And then once I was in the UFC for a while, I knew I wanted to start my own gym, right? Like I was doing the computer science thing for a little bit, and I quit that job and I was focused on training 100%. And then I definitely had time in between fights where I had a lot more time to kind of, focus on things. So I knew I wanted to start a gym, but I knew because I had been running so much at Reality Self Defense as far as classes and things like that, I was instructing so many things. If I went and open up a gym, I probably would have like taken a good chunk of the members out of Reality Self Defense. And I didn't want to do that, right? Joe Pomfret, we always saw he's fight dad, right? He's my first coach. He's been in my corner for almost all my fights. So I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to fracture the gym. So we talked about it, and we basically rebranded it. I became the majority owner of the gym. We changed to Lauzon Mixed Martial Arts. We did that I think it was like 10 years ago now. I think it was like 2012. So we were in Bridgewater for I think 2 years. And then we're in Easton for like 8 years, I think. And then now we're in Raynham. So we've been there for a year now.
That's incredible. I mean, it's become such a breeding ground of young, hungry New England talent. I mean, you must be really proud of the culture that you've created.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm super proud of the culture that we have. Like everyone comes down on Saturdays, and everyone gets together, and everyone gets to train, open doors. Anyone wants to come, as long as you're not an asshole training partner, come and train with us. Everything's great. I don't need anyone to say, they have to train with us. I don't make them put our logo on their shorts. If they want to, I'm obviously happy about that. But I think there's no set in stone thing. You have to do this. It's like, just come, just train. I'm not trying to get money out of you. I'm not trying to charge you. I'm not doing whatever. If you want to come on Saturdays, just come and train. And then we get people from everywhere. They all come together. Like we get people that come from
everywhere.
New York,
it's
New
awesome.
Hampshire, Georgia. We had people come from all over the country to come and train with us on Saturdays. And it's just great. It's just it's good. It's the big thing is just, like I said, don't be a jerk. Be a good training partner. Being a good training partner to me means you're not trying to hurt anybody. And you can go intense, but once you hurt someone, you hit someone a little bit, you got to back off. You're not hurting someone and not trying to finish them off. That's the big thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we have great trainer partners, really good skill set. There's tons of guys with lots of very, very diverse skills. We get some guys that have awesome kickboxing. We have some guys that have awesome jiu-jitsu and horrible kickboxing, but we all kind of come together. Everyone helps out each other. It's just a good environment. It's a good environment. It's a good environment for everyone.
I know every time I go there, before I walk in, I'm like, okay, let me mentally prepare for these rounds right now.
Well, that's part of it too, right? Because when you have your training partners that you train with every single day, you train with them 3-4 times a week, right? Now you go with someone you're not as familiar with, right? It's kind of it's a little bit more like a fight. As long as people aren't getting carried away and trying to hurt each other, it's a little bit more like a fight. You are a little bit more stressed. I don't want to go with this guy. I've seen him I've seen him knock people out. I've seen him do this, but then he's a good training partner. You're a good training partner, and you guys get along great, and everything's good.
Right. I mean, that's where I met Hillary Rose, who's an up and coming fighter, and being able to spar someone like that, my game just skyrocketed, and it's really cool to be around.
All the things that you do are different than things Hillary does, right? So
yes,
when you're working on X, Y, and Z at your gym, when you try and use those against your trainer partners, sometimes it doesn't work as well because they know exactly what you're trying to do, right? But now you get to see how that's going to work against Hillary because she's not training beside you every single day. and you get to a little bit more of a better idea of like how it's honestly doing. And same thing with Hillary.
Yeah.
She has things she was working on, and now she gets to see how it's going to work against you. It's just, I think it's a little bit better than training with your same trainer partners all the time.
Agreed. So now that you know, obviously, who you're fighting, do you have any ideas on who your main sparring partners are going to be?
I'm sure we'll do a little drilling and some sparring with Ross. I'm sure at some point.
I'm sure. Ross Levine.
We're gonna have a coaches meet next week, so we'll kind of talk about that. And we'll kind of get some ideas. I mean, I kind of leave that up to my coaches. Like I don't worry about it too much. I can think like off the top of my head, I can think of like 5 or 6 like great people for different things, for different parts of the game, because like it's always hard to get like one partner that's like the perfect thing for everything, right? It's like it's gonna be hard for me to find someone that has like the same kind of jiu-jitsu, same kind of wrestling, same kind of stand-up and all that kind of stuff as Cowboy. But I can find maybe one person I wrestle with, and one person I do jiu-jitsu with, and one person I do kickboxing with, or one person I drill to work on specific things. So we'll kind of see how that all works out and who's available and how the schedules align and all that kind of stuff.
Will you be joining me on what is it, March 4th?
I will.
For CES 66?
Yes.
Excellent.
Twin River Casino.
So we're going to be
only on UFC Fight Pass. Yep.
Yes. Twin River Casino, Lincoln, Rhode Island, March 4th. We'll be sitting next to each other, and you will be doing all the ground game stuff. I will be doing all the striking stuff. Yep. We've seemed to form a really nice rapport. And I believe you have a couple students on the card, right? One or two?
Yep. So the main one right now is Connor Matthews. So Connor Matthews on the card. I'm not sure if we have anyone else locked in. We've talked about a couple of things, but I think Connor's the only one that's really locked in. So, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
It's so cool to see all of these incredible students underneath you. Did you have a kind of an adjustment period of being the fighter and then becoming the coach? Like, was it hard for you to make that adjustment?
Not really. So since when I first started training, I was kind of like, I was like the good local fighter at our gym. I was like one of the best, guys in New England before I was in the UFC. And I was kind of like leading, and I was kind of in that leader role early on. And then I got to the UFC, and then I was like, now I'm considered like head and shoulders above all the guys that are only fighting locally. Right. So like it just continued on. And then we had guys like Joe Proctor, Jimmy Quinlan, Chuck O'Neal, all these other guys that we were getting up to the UFC, but we're kind of like following, I was kind of trying to blaze the trail a little bit and kind of, getting them to follow in footsteps and kind of helping them figure it out. And so I've been doing that for so long now, like since pretty much like before I was in the UFC. I was kind of beating down that path for them. So it's not really, it was never like an adjustment. It was never a change thing. Like, and I'm also never like, I'm never a guy like I have to be in the corner. Like it's not like, it's never the important thing to me. It's like I want everyone to win. Like I don't care. It's not about me. It's, I always tell, all the fighters, like you're the captain of your own ship, right? At the end of the day, you make all the decisions for your own career. You obviously have people that are going to advise you and kind of tell you, what they think you should do. But it's at the end of the day, I'm the one that has to say, okay, I'm going to fight Cowboy Cerrone. This is who I'm going to work with for coaches. This is the game plan I'm going to follow. And then I have to make the decisions I make during the fight, and I definitely, I lean on my coaches to make those right decisions. But at the end of the day, I listen to them and I don't, right? So it's kind of the same for all the fighters. Like they come to us on Saturday or they train with me during the week, and I try to show them and help them as best I can. But at the end of the day, they do what they want to do, right? And they live with the repercussions of that, whether it goes well or it doesn't go well, So, so it's never been hard for me. It's like I'm just like, I want to help you out. I don't care. I'm not trying to get anything back from you. I just want to see you do well. And if you do well and you become better, then you're going to make all of us better. And that's all it's really ever been.
Yeah, it's such a great mentality. So we have a special guest joining us. It is, you know him very well. It is your manager, right? Steve Mays?
Boxing coach.
Hey,
boxing coach, life coach.
Boxing coach. Life coach. What's going on, Steve?
Coach, jiu-jitsu coach.
I need a life coach right now with this weather.
Dude, what are you doing on the road right now?
Are you? Yeah.
Somebody has to get grandma out. Okay.
Oh.
If she's gonna make the spaghetti and meatballs, then I'm gonna get her out. That's for sure.
Okay.
Oh, what a sweet guy.
Great.
So I'm so glad you could join us, Steve, because I was talking to you earlier and I was kind of trying to see what you were thinking about, Joe taking this fight and just some of your thoughts on when you heard that Joe was going to be fighting again. Like, what was your initial reaction?
So obviously Joe reaches out to all of us right away and says, hey, we have an opportunity. What do you think? I kind of liked it right away. I got to be honest. In the past, I have hated it, but for this one, I kind of liked it right away. And there are tougher fights out there. There are much tougher fights out there. And my thing is, if Joe is going to fight and that's what he wants to do, I support it. And I think this is a good fight.
And I remember you saying something along the lines of that you were dead against him fighting before, and now he's getting in again. And do you feel like this is the perfect matchup, or do you feel like it should have been somebody else, in your honest opinion?
There's no perfect matchup. I mean, it's the UFC. There's no easy touches. It's not like you're getting a call from a local promoter and they're bringing in some guy that's, 5-17 and you're going to blow him out in the first round. There is no easy fights in the UFC. So I don't think there's a such thing as a perfect matchup. There are good matchups. There are bad matchups stylistically. One of the big things about this is it's two legends, right? It's been all over Twitter. It's been all over Instagram. Two legends. This is a great fight for the sport. This is a great fight for the UFC. This is a great fight for Joe. It's a great fight for Cowboy. So, again, there's a lot of young, hungry, 20-something-year-old guys that are rip-roaring and ready to go. And then there are some guys that are, maybe one or two fights left and they're on their way out. And that's kind of where I think Joe and Cowboy are. And so that's why I think it's a good matchup.
And how much boxing do you think Joe is going to be doing for this fight camp?
How much do I want him to do, or how much is he going to do?
So there's a different answer for both, huh?
There is. Perfect
There
world.
is.
Joe knows it. Everybody knows it. Perfect world. Joe touches gloves, and he's in a clinch immediately. He has the skills to do what he has to do, but that's where he is best. So let's get to where Joe is best. That's just my mentality. So how much will he do? I know Joe, he's going to stand and bang. That's unfortunately what he does. But I wouldn't want it to be too much.
Do you agree with this, Joe? Do you feel like he's spot on?
I think it's very difficult. I would love to take everyone down right away. If you give me like a superpower, I could just take someone down effortlessly. I would use it every single fight. But it's hard. It's hard to take people down sometimes. And everyone has a different reaction, right? Like everyone that's, when someone gets hit with something clean, they do one or two things. They either cover up and they start diving for legs, or they start swinging back, Unfortunately for me, I swing back. Like there's definitely times like I wish I had shot a takedown or I'd done something, but I get hit and I swing back. So, but I agree with Mace. Everything you just said, I agree with. Like, I'm definitely gonna, it's the ideal thing for me is okay. Like I take Cowboy down and I beat him up on the ground. And I don't take a lot of damage. But it doesn't go that way. It's never gonna go perfect.
And to be fair, Cowboy's not easy to just take down and submit.
No, he's hard.
The guy's very good on the ground. He's got very good takedown defense. He's been in with some great grapplers and great wrestlers. It's not going to be easy.
I'm so glad you were able to come on and give your opinions on it. If you'd like to wish him good luck, Joe, Steve, go for it. But I know you're going to be seeing him very soon, I'm sure. And will we be seeing you on March 4th for CES?
Oh, yeah.
All right,
yeah,
good.
I'll definitely be there. And it's not, before when it was, I don't want you to fight, I don't want you to fight, I don't want you to fight. And he was going to fight anyway. We had a long talk, and I said the same thing to him now that I said to him then. I'm not going to leave your side. I got your back, and whether I agree with it or not, we're going to go through this thing together. And when it's over, it's over. But yeah,
I think you agree with it now, though. I think you do agree with it now, though.
What?
We've had about possibly still fighting.
Oh yeah.
We've had conversations. We've had conversations where you talk about, okay, before the fight, even like before the last fight, like I thought you were in trouble. I didn't like the fight. Like I didn't like it at all.
Yep.
Didn't think it was good. And then after the fight, he's basically saying like I think I was wrong. I think you're still in there. I think you're still got it.
Wow.
I was definitely wrong if you see the outcome of the fight, right? I mean, if the fight went a different way, I would have been patting myself in the back saying, I told you so.
Yeah.
Right? I love to say,
yeah.
but no, the fight went the right way, and if you're gonna do it, let's do it. I mean,
But we
You
have
had to eat your words.
we have proof you were wrong once in your life.
once.
Yeah,
Doesn't happen often.
not often. Once though.
Once and only once. I love it. Well, thank you both for joining me. And I know it's pretty gross out, so I'll let you back to your snow day. But congratulations on the fight announcement, Joe. And hopefully I'll see you soon in the gym.
I'll definitely see you soon.